Hello, my name is Ashley. This is the Ashley Crafts YouTube channel. I'm so excited to be making my first YouTube video. I have actually filmed a lot of content for this video already, and in editing it back, you can't hear me. So I ordered this thing, and we're just gonna really quickly recap what we've done up to this point so we can keep moving on with having sound that you can hear. So let's see. Background is we're making a dress out of a thrifted sheet for my sister's baby shower. I'm very excited about it. It's 3 weeks away. We're also making her favors, but we should have enough time to get this done. By the way, we're making the Maeve Dress by Violet Field Threads. It's a free dress pattern. I really like it so far. I tend to freewheel it, and I knew that was not going to be possible. So I actually got a dress pattern and we're following it and it's going really well. We've cut all of our pieces out. I used my projector to do that. I can delve into that in another video if you guys want to really get a rundown of how I use my projector to project sewing patterns and cut them. That's not really the point of this video. Anyway, so we've cut all our pieces out and we've started to sew the bodice together. And so today we're attaching the sleeves. So let's get to it. So right now we have one sleeve attached. And I think I need to seam rip. That's an easy fix, where basically things kind of got goofed up. Haha, that looks a lot better. So something that I do wonder is, do I need to trim inner seam down? Because it's pretty massive. Professional look, finish the seam with a serger, or trim the seam allowance in half and finish with a zigzag stitch. So let me put the other sleeve on and I'll go over the love of my life, the overlocking foot, and we will use that to finish the seam up. So let me get the other sleeve on. I've already used it once in this project, and I actually use this a lot. It came with my machine. I have a Brother CP100X, and I love her. She's great if you're looking for a sewing machine. I do really like this one. So this is an overlocking foot. This is what it looks like. It's a G. Mine has a G on it. And it basically gives you a nice, pretty overlocked edge just with your standard machine. I know Brother makes them. You can buy them separately. I would imagine you can get one for a Singer machine. I use mine all the time. If you guys want a more in-depth tutorial on how to use this, let me know. We're going to be using it a good bit in this project, probably just to finish the seams on the inside so that they're not going to fray all over the place. We're going to put this on. Every time I'm changing my foot also, I don't have my foot remotely near the pedal, because my grandma told me about a time that my great-grandma sewed through her fingernail. That lives rent-free in my brain, and I really don't want that to happen to me. So anytime I'm dealing with anything in this vicinity and I'm not paying attention, I will have my foot physically removed from the pedal. So we're going to take our overlock foot. I just put on stitch number 6 on this machine. 6 and 7 are my go-tos. I don't really know the difference between them. I use them interchangeably. It just depends on the day, depends on the vibe. And I'm gonna use that to finish the seams on both of my shoulder pieces. So we're done with the top. It's going really well. We've got the sleeves done. The elastic is in there. I used the professional version. There's 2 ways to do the sleeves. I did the professional way. My phone died, or I showed you. So you guys got to sit that one out. So now we're going to start working on the skirt. But yay, little top to the dress. I'm so excited. I can't believe how easy things are when you follow instructions. So the next thing to do is, I've got my top tier skirt pieces, and we're just going to make one giant circle out of them. So I've got my 2 pieces. It's kind of hard to tell the right and the wrong side of this, to be honest, just at a glance. Could have just sworn I heard the baby cry. You guys gotta tell me if you see that monitor turn on. Can you see that? That's what it looks like. It puts a zigzag stitch just around the edge. Really quick, really easy. I love it. I literally use it all the time. So you could just zigzagging over the edge, and that would be a perfectly fine way to go about this. But my machine came with this butt, so we're gonna use it. If your machine came with a big bag of feet, you should look for this one. We're about to gather the skirt. You want to make sure you have a nice long tail to pull on. You also don't want to accidentally sew over your front of your tail when you come back around, if that makes sense. Stop sewing before you hit where you started. Before I get to where the seam here is, I'm actually gonna pull my needle up and pull it past that seam and then keep going, just so that I don't have to deal with trying to do the gathering through that bulky seam. It's gonna make it more difficult. We get to sew the skirt to the bodice! Y'all, what time is it? I could finish this tonight. Oh, maybe not. My son likes to wake up at 6 a.m. no matter what day it is. Maybe someday I will sleep in. So, with the bodice right side out, so this needs to be right side out. Right sides together, as they say. That moment when you're like, did I turn the iron off? Yes, I did turn the iron off. I've got the top tier of the skirt pinned to the bodice. I'm worried that the skirt is about to be so not on here straight. So I did go ahead and put it on to see how the fit's going. The back, I think, is going great. The front is like a little cattywampus. So I'll probably try and straighten this. It's not great, and I feel like it is kind of noticeable. So that'll be on the docket tomorrow, will be to try and straighten this out. But the back, I think, looks really good. I'm really happy with it. It's tomorrow now. Next day. I went ahead and I believe fixed the front where it's straighter. Still not perfect, but it's a homemade. It doesn't have to be. I just grabbed this seam that seemed to be the problem, and it was very wobbly when I went back and looked at it. So I just sewed a new straighter line across it, and it helped tremendously. So I'm really happy with that. So now all we have left to do is make the bottom tier of the skirt. I'm just going to take all of my skirt pieces and make a big circle, and then we'll gather it. I definitely learned some lessons the last time and want to make sure I take my time and gather it evenly, because I think that's what caused me some of the problems on the last tier. And then the other concern that I have for this part is, and the pattern actually has a note for it, but it's got a lot of fabric for the bottom tier. And since I was working with a sheet and when I buy a sheet at the thrift store that I want to sew with, I typically go ahead and when I get it home, I'll wash it and then cut it into quarters, just because when I'm going to make something, if it's going to be like a huge pain in the butt to get the whole sheet out and lay it out on the ground and cut it, it's too much. So I'm a lot more likely to actually go for the sheet to make something out of if I can lay it on my table to cut it. So I'll cut it into quarters because it makes it just a lot easier to handle. And that is what got us into this situation. I have no regrets, but it just means that I had to make 4 pieces for the bottom skirt instead of 2. The pattern has a note for that and says you'll just have a seam in the front and the back, and it's not going to be that noticeable because it's gathered. So I'm hoping that it's not super noticeable. I think this pattern will be forgiving for that because it's not super contrasty and there's a lot going on. So we don't have any choice. This is what we're going to have to work with. So we're just going to do it. I'm just trying to even this out a little bit. So other fun fact about me, I'd be using this. Whoops. You'll see it just flopping around in the background. I just found, I don't know when I did that, but apparently there's a fun cut right there. So I'm going to have to take this seam out and I'll just cut it. We'll lose an inch of the skirt. Oh no, this massive tier of skirt, we're going to lose an inch. So I fixed the... Are you kidding me? Just kidding, I did not fix all of the mysterious holes in my skirt. I fixed that one. Not even further. It has to have just been from me cutting haphazardly and not paying attention to where I'd already cut things out. Let me make sure there's no other mysterious holes. We're good. So we're just gonna get to gathering this skirt. It's been a couple of days. So we've got my 2 rows of stitches sewn around. My dog is flopping around. So I'm gonna grab a hold of, I want to say you're supposed to do the bobbin part of the thread. I don't know that it matters which side. If anyone knows more than me about this, tap in. Wait, I think I skipped a step. I was supposed to hem this first. Let me press and then hem it. Whoops, I'm glad I didn't get too far with gathering it. What I was going to check was gather until it is about half of its circumference. I'm probably going to gather until it matches with the bottom of the top tier. Y'all, I'm not going to lie to you, I found another spot where There's a mysterious small cut in this skirt fabric. I'm gonna just leave it there. I don't want to deal with it right now. So I'm gonna just pretend that it's not there. My stitch length is still through the roof. I'm just sewing the hem on the bottom. Hi, buddy. I finally have him finished. The amount of fabric here is redonkulous. That took a long time. I have a special guest in the house. He doesn't like his working conditions. We just have to gather the skirt. We'll see if someone is gonna let me do that. Increasingly, the answer seems like no. And that's okay. I can always do it later. We're ready to do the second to last step, which is attaching the bottom tier of the skirt. There's the hair. I got the bottom part of the skirt put on. So I'm going to trim down the seam allowance and then put a little zigzag on it. You can kind of see this is a pretty big seam allowance and we're already a huge mess going on. So it is important to make sure this doesn't just completely shred and tear up. Uh-oh. I already fixed a couple of spots where this happened, but just where the upper tier got hung up and it made a little lip. Super easy to fix. Just gonna pull out where that happened. I'm just gonna be really careful and make sure I don't sew anything I don't intend to sew. This is such a little section. Easy peasy. Yep, and now we're all good. Much better. This is so much skirt. I don't know why I'm just really flabbergasted by how lengthy all of this fabric is in the skirt. But every time I've sewn it, I'm like, want to move on to the next thing. Oh gosh, I gotta be careful because I could really ruin this right now if I accidentally cut something I did not mean to. I love being able to do a little thrift flip and just make something. This sheet probably cost me $3, probably even less than that. And now I have a handmade dress that is made exactly to my size that I had a really fun time making. I'm just gonna clean up any random little loose threads that I see. Oops. Because we are done. I hope. I'm so excited. It's all done. Here it is. I think it turned out really, really cute. I'm really proud of myself for following a pattern. I hope this inspires some of you to go buy a cute thrift store sheet and turn it into something else. Shout out to Violet Field Threads. This dress pattern was beautiful, so easy to follow. I don't think you may not even be able to see it. This seam on the front is super noticeable, so that's awesome. A little bit closer up, here's some more detail. It's really lightweight. The sheet is 100% cotton, so it's super breathable. Probably honestly gonna wear this a lot. It's really comfortable. I'll make sure to post an update to my Instagram once I wear it to the baby shower. I hope you guys liked this video. I hope you guys keep following along. And we'll see what we get into next time. Bye!